Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh bidvaro. We have spoken about it on many different occasions. There seems to be an obsession in Jewish tradition, an obsession with Egypt. At every moment during this cycle of the year, in all festivities, it is always Zeichel Yetziat Mitzrayim, in remembrance of our exodus from Egypt. What is the importance of Egypt? Of course, the importance of Egypt is that we were slaves in Egypt and we went out into the desert and we were free. We're free people. We were no longer enslaved. Yet, on many occasions, when difficulties appeared, when there was lack of water, when there was lack of food, our ancestors immediately said, let us go back to Egypt. When they came to the land of Israel and they were about to conquer it, the first year that they went out of Egypt, and they got a very negative report that it was a very difficult place to conquer. So they immediately said, let us elect somebody and let us go back to Egypt. Why would they go back to slavery? Didn't they hear what Patrick Henry said? Give me liberty or give me death. Well, that sounds very good. That was in the American Revolution, by the way. That sounds very good. But I think that slavery with food is preferable to liberty without food, because as long as you're alive, you feel that you will be able to get out of slavery. But if you die, there's nothing else to look forward to. So many a time, people endure difficulties because they hope for a better future, because they hope for a different tomorrow. So our ancestors in the desert, they wanted to go back to Egypt because in Egypt there was food. Why was there food in Egypt when the entire area, the entire region, many a time lacked food? This is how our ancestors came to Egypt, because there was no food in Canaan, the land of Israel. Well, there's a big difference. In order for the land to produce, you need water. We know that. Without water, you can't have any kind of agriculture. Well, Egypt has a tremendous blessing, a tremendous river, Nile. And the Nile is very fertile, because by the banks of the Nile, you have the greatest agriculture you can have. But in Israel, it isn't so. So, in Egypt, there were gods, of course. But the people didn't relate to the gods in a serious manner. The gods were busy with themselves, and the people were busy with themselves because the food came from the river Nile. But in the land of Israel, you had to pray to God that the heavens open up and that rain should fall down, because without rain, agriculture wouldn't prosper at all. So you have a different conception, a different relationship between man and God in Egypt and the land of Israel and in many other places. So maybe what we are saying really is, we remember Egypt not only because there was a lot of food, but also there were no moral obligations, because the gods didn't ask anything of you, because you had everything. But in the land of Israel, it's different. Jews, the Jewish people, told the world that God isn't arbitrary. It depends upon our behavior. The heavens open up when we behave in a moral, in an ethical way. So therefore, maybe when our ancestors were in the desert and they said, "Zacharnu et hadaga shenochal b'mitzrayim chinam," we remember that we ate fish for free. What they really meant is for free, free of moral obligations, because in Egypt you could do anything and the earth would still provide. But in Israel it's different. It depends upon your behavior. So I think this is a tremendous message. This is why Lot, maybe when he separated from Abraham, he looked for a place that looked like Egypt, where the agriculture flourished all the time, and he wouldn't have to relate to God. There's a very interesting episode in the Torah where God punishes the serpent because of the disobedience, and says to the serpent, "You will now have to be all the time together with the earth. You are going to eat the dust of the earth." So the Kotzker Rebbe says, what kind of punishment is that? There is dust everywhere, so the serpent will always have what to eat. But he reasons and he says, the serpent will never have to raise its head and ask God for food. It'll have no reason to have a relationship with God. You know, the truly religious person, when he prays, it's not that he's asking God for gifts. What he's really using is the lack that he has, the needs that he has, as an excuse to come closer to God. Because his goal in life is really to attain kedusha, sanctity. And the ultimate sanctity in this world is that of God.